So, yes, as I was saying earlier, we did a masterclass today on Stick Academy at stickacademy.com. So that might be the last one for a while. We did that today. Great turnout. And I was going to try to answer some questions, possibly, if I can receive them. And I texted. So we'll see. But yes, did some playing. Let me see what the levels are like. I never started. I had to hit a button. Facebook's rocking. All right, I see you guys. Hey, Tony. Hey, I was wondering if you could. Oh, you texted me the questions. Cool, thank you. Yeah, so I got some questions from today's masterclass. And thank you, Tony. That's awesome. Look at all this. Any chance you guys will ever play Wounded Knee again? The only time I heard Primus play it was New Year's Eve. Yeah, that was kind of a special event. So I have probably not, because that means we'd have to carry around a marimba. So probably not anytime soon. John G, that was from Patrick. John G asked, had he ever taken the bottoms off the toms? Yes. So I actually, most of the time I use a concert tom kit, which they call in the drumming world a one-headed drum, the concert tom. These have two, so they have a little more sustain. I've kind of got a little bit of muting on them, just because I don't like them ringing too much. But I have bottom heads on all of these, except for this floor tom over here. And this floor tom here, no bottom heads. So actually, it's only these three drums, snare, kick, that have two heads on them right now. And it does change. Black Sabbath reunion, I have no idea what that means. We'd have to ask Mike Borden. Joe says, where did you get the idea to use splash cymbals and high toms? The first person I saw using them is Neil Peart. He used high toms and he had the little splash cymbal. But then I heard Stuart Copeland using octobans like this, and he had splash cymbals too. So that really got me into it. I really love that effect of not always having just one big crash that happens. So it's, to me, very important to have, variety of levels of sounds. So that's why I do that. That seems like a signature sound. Yes, I think it is. I think it is. It does have a signature sound. But that's where I got it from, those two guys. Any advice, Alan asked, on where to start with the double hits? I have never done that and can't seem to get the hang of that. Well, this is what I showed everyone today, the double stroke. So 2 notes per hand. The thing about it is, it's not your arm going down twice to make 2 hits. Your arm goes down once, the stick bounces, and then you just use your fingers to squeeze it back in for the second hit. So the arm goes down and comes back. So that exercise right there is what we want. The key, get that first hit to bounce. You want that stick to move. Stick's got to move. But don't open your hand. I would not advise that. Keep your fingers on your sticks. So you feel the stick moving. You anticipate that it is going to bounce as soon as you hit. And then you allow it to move. And then squeeze it. So that's a good double stroke exercise. But you make sure you get that first bounce to really hit. Okay? Trying to get that first bounce is what's going to help get that thing moving. All right. All you drummers out there, that's for you. How much rehearsal went into Pachyderm Station live stream show? If I remember, was a couple, not many. Not many. Just we usually don't rehearse much. Even when we do get together, we play like 3 or 4 songs, and then we're like, "All right, do you guys want to go get some dinner?" And that's it. Because we play the songs so much that on tour, playing them in a rehearsal situation is just to make sure that we remember the parts and the changes, and so we can remember the song. So that. Oh, Tony saying Mike is very quiet. What the hell? Okay. How about now? Yeah, I know you can. I can see it here. It's cranking on my thing. Jeez. I just don't want it distorted. Is it distorted though, Tony? Yeah, I can see it hitting red. How about now? All right, I'll back up a little. Yeah, I'll back it down a little bit. Okay, so yeah. Do you have any tips for not rushing parts in songs where tension is building up? Oh yeah, I answered this earlier. But yes, it's about staying relaxed and that exercise of remembering to move fast. You have to be relaxed. So the tension is probably going to slow you down, make you feel like it's harder to play. So then maybe you start thinking you're going slower because maybe you're getting tense. So your tempo might be going like this, So definitely moving around the kit relaxed is key. And to do that, I think if you're getting, what was that? I think if you're getting tense, speed might be an issue, and your volume too that you're playing at. You don't always have to hit super hard. If you're playing in a club or a stage, most likely there's microphones. So let them do the work. And be dynamic, listen to your other players. So, but staying relaxed. And that exercise, here's an exercise I showed everyone before. The idea is not to hit hard. You just touch. So see how light you can do that and still move around the kit. You don't have to go really fast, but go to where you have to work at it. That's too slow because I can lightly touch. But if I go faster, obviously things are moving quicker. It's about controlling where your stick stops. Then you'll get used to moving quickly without exerting a lot of energy. So there's that. Yes. Jose says, should I be doing the exercises leading with the non-dominant hand too? Yes, definitely. If you have a weaker hand, everything you do on the right side, do on the left side. It'll just help balance you out and it'll make you better. Robbie Morgan says drums sound awesome, dude. Thank you. Yeah, I have a microphone out there now just to make it a little better for you guys. So I think it's helping. I'll try to work on getting more better sound control. Jeff, I play with some amazing musicians, but not all of them have good rhythmic sense, as in sometimes the vocalist comes in too early or too late, which leaves the rest of the band looking at each other like, what just happened? I know that. Yeah, that happens. In anticipation, I have to really focus on where the one is. Yes, knowing that the singer will lose the one eventually. Just wondered if you've been in a situation like that and how you dealt with it. Great question. So this is something I've noticed in musicians too. Not all musicians have a really good sense of rhythm. Might be great at singing and the pitch, but also from a singer standpoint, I've done that too a little bit. It's really hard for me to know, because being a drummer, that not being able to understand where all the bars are starting and where the one is starting in each section, So key thing to do is, if you notice it happening, is to maybe tell the singer you're going to cue when you're about to hit that one, or that he should be listening to you to signal, like if you're doing something and you're going to let him know by going da 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 da, and then come in singing. Start marking cues for him, because he might not understand rhythm that well, or he or she. Yeah, it's just a weird, to me, it's strange when people don't have that rhythm sense. But also for melody, for me, is, I've been doing rhythms for so long, melody has always been a little bit of a challenge, pitch-wise for me, because I'm always hearing drums in my head. So, but anyways, I would say do that. Start cueing right before when the singer has to sing, or explain, like, look, listen for this part, a da-dum, da-da-dum, then come in. And just practice it. The more you practice it, the more they'll know to listen for that. Dun, dun, da, da, dun. So that might help. But yes, it does happen. Sometimes it's just purely someone gets lost. They just stopped thinking about where they were and they're lost. But if this is happening regularly, it's probably a lack of understanding of rhythms. You might want to go through the subdivisions with them. Go, here's quarter notes. So if we're at a tempo about this speed, you can divide it evenly into eighth notes. And then 16th notes would be that might help them go, oh yeah. So if I want to sing something, I need to sing either if they're trying to be on time, they sing in either the dun dun or the dun 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 dun, or the or a triplet da 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 da. So rhythmically they can tighten it up, and usually singers don't have to. They can be loose and sustain long notes and not worry about it. But they got to know when to come in. So work on cueing, things like that. Thanks. Yeah, that was a great question, Jeff. Yeah, Jeff, thank you. Johnny, should we practice with a metronome? It's definitely good to start getting the feel for that. Sometimes I do. I find it funner to play to records or music of whatever. I really like playing to dubstep, and all of that stuff is computerized. So usually it's in perfect time. So the more you get used to playing along in that time, you'll get really used to it, and you'll start developing that when it's gone, because you'll feel how much space you need between the notes. That's what's determining your tempo, is how much time between. So the stuff you're not doing is what's affecting your time. So if you hit there and you wait, however long that wait till the next note, that's going to make it whether you're in time or not. So get used to the space between notes. So what that feels like in your body too. You know, like for me, I always have like my leg taps or my hand, my knee, you know, my legs moving when I'm not playing, just so the rhythm's always there. And live, you know, there's so many factors that can affect how you hear that, you know, I have to keep something going or else I'm going to kind of get lost. So in a show, there's always something in my body that's moving to however the song should be going. So, yes, you can do a metronome. They're just, you know, they get a little old because it's just one sound, just back and forth, back and forth. And now they have, you know, little metronomes that have different sounds for different accents. But I like playing to records. And you don't really have to know it, too, just so long as it's got good time. And then you can either do what they're doing or not, or just play stuff over top of it that, you know, just to practice. Linda, my friend Linda, do you do the elbow out swan hand thing when you do all the practice stuff? So yeah, that's my arm motion when I hit. It's this. So the motion energy starts here. The energy comes here. You see this? It's like a whip. It's like energy here, here, and then there. And then it comes down. Okay? And even when the motions are small, the elbows are still going like this. So there's this motion that's always happening when I'm playing. And a lot of great drummers I see do this too. Because right here, this is relaxed. So this goes back to the other question, being relaxed, so you're not speeding up and you're getting tense. During this motion, everything is totally relaxed. I'm just lightly raising my elbows. And then my elbows coming in and my stick's up here still. And then you let gravity pull it down. So I do it all the time. If you watch footage of Taylor Hawkins, he was always playing like this. So during this part of the stroke, you're relaxed, and then there's an impact. Okay? So that's the motion, being relaxed like this. So yes, my arms are always doing that. And of course, depends on what you're playing. If you're playing a hi-hat pattern, it's going to be really small. Really small. Like just barely moves, but it does move. It kind of generates a wave, like a wave. Okay? That's the motion, like a wave. So yes. That's how that happens. How much did you practice each day before joining Primus? Before I joined Primus, I was in another band. And so I played gigs mostly, didn't practice a lot because I didn't really have a spot to practice. So I would play when we would get together in the rehearsal room, you know. But as a kid, you know, I used to come home from school and I'd put on Rush records and I would learn every single little note. I put on Van Halen and I learned a lot of that stuff too. But Rush was what I was really into, and I would just listen to every little note as much as possible. So Dave says, can you show the beat you did on Pussifer's Queen Bee? Yes. Let me see. I haven't heard it in a while. No, is that right? I think it's something like that, you know. YYZ last night, yes. All right, I hear pops coming up back here on the screen. All right, so there's are some questions from today's class. Here's a couple more. Talk about my equipment. So yes, I use Tama drums and Zildjian cymbals. Zildjian. 400 years old, this company. 400. Count it. 400. Go back. That's a long time. 1600, right? Yeah. 400 years old, this family making cymbals. Tama drums, Zildjian, Aquarian drum heads. Currently, I have these vintage. These are really cool. They're thicker. They have the coated feel. And they have nice tone. More tone than attack. So I like that, at least for now. I kind of change things up. So, yeah. And my own signature stick by Vader drumsticks. It's called the Tim Alexander signature stick. You guys should have one. Have a pair for sure. So yeah. Is that that's my equipment that I have. And the next question is bass drum pedal technique, and is my bass drum pedal tight or loose? Mine's kind of medium tight. And might be, but medium tight. I have a double pedal here, and when I play with my heel up. Okay, up in the air. My heel is up. It might be really not a good idea to move this mic or this camera. Okay, I'll have to show you some other time. But yeah, heel is up. And I use my leg. Boom. I raise my leg and just let it drop a lot of times. That's how you stay relaxed. Find as much time in whatever you're doing, find as much time to relax while you're playing. Wherever you get a chance, just, if your one hand's doing this and the rest of the body can rest, let it rest. You've got to find all those little moments to do that. But that's how I do the bass drum, Leg up, drop the leg, and my heel's up most of the time. So, can we get first class lessons? Not doing those yet, but I am doing the accelerator program. Okay, so what that is a weekly get together on camera like this. And we just hang out together and talk drums. We're going to do, it's the first time we've done this, but it's an intensive. So we're going to get into a lot more information than we can do in just one masterclass. Because this will be ongoing. And then we'll do Q&As afterwards too. So on 2 of them, I think. So yeah, so there's a bunch of the questions. I hope I got to most of them. The lesson today was amazing. Thank you, Brian. Awesome. What's the hardest kick pattern you've incorporated into your songs? All right. So here's a hard kick pattern that kicks my butt. And I was having an issue on a tour. We were playing this song. It's on one of the new songs. I think it's, let me see. It's on our EP. I think it might be Conspiranoia. God, I haven't heard that one in a while too. But we haven't played in 2 years. So, year and a half now. But it's going to be 2 years in April since we last toured. And then we're going on tour finally. So, it's good. But yeah, let me show you this. So the beat is this. Let me make sure I don't blow out the mic. I'll do it slow. And check this out. So it's I'm doing a steady boom, boom, boom with the right leg. So that 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Check it down, set it down. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that pattern is what I do with my feet, with my hands on the hi-hat. So here's how it sounds. But I catch myself getting tense, and then I'm caught up like, am I going too fast? Or is it too slow? Because some things it's easier to play faster. So let me see. Not too bad. So it feels okay there. So I bet when I'm getting tense and I'm cramping up and I can't play that, it's just like the left leg won't work. It's probably because I'm going too fast. And we do that a lot when we're live. And we don't use a click. So that's the thing. Like we don't have something to reference. We just kind of play the songs. So that's that. That's a really hard one, bass drum wise. I've noticed. Yes. yeah, so thought I would answer some questions tonight. I'm not going to. Art Ross asking, speaking of the bass drums, are you still playing with no front heads? If so, why or why not? So, I have a front head on here, but it's got a hole in it. When you take the head off, when you hit the drum, all the air, there's no resistance. So the head feels really good on the beater side. And I like to have a pillow in there to keep it real dead. But a bass drum sounds so good when it's open. It's just boom. But you can't do anything. For me, I can't. If it's not muffled, I have a hard time doing anything because the head's moving too much. The head's vibrating like crazy. So I have a pillow in there, and I have an Aquarian head with a hole in it so I can reach in there and adjust stuff. And the hole lets the air out, so there's no resistance against the head. So that's why. Yeah, sorry, there's a question. Do you like Dream Theater? Portnoy's back. Yes, Mike. I've texted with him a few times. But other than that, I don't know the music like crazy. So, but he's a great player. I mean, I have seen him on things and stuff. Yeah. Any plans with Michael Manring again? Thonk was killer. Thank you. No plans. No plans. What's your favorite Rush song to play on drums? I don't have a favorite because I learned every single one up until the album Hold Your Fire, I think it was. And that's where I just didn't have the ability. And then I started playing in a band, and so I got busy doing that. So I wasn't just learning Rush songs all the time. But, yeah, a favorite. I don't have a favorite. There's so many cool parts. But the greatest the greatest intro besides Spirit of Radio, which is the famous one. Everyone knows that, I think. But there's a badass one called Digital Man. And every time I get on the drums, it's like I want to do that. So here's how it goes. Anyways, but that intro, I don't know. That's just cool. That's just hella cool. So, anyways, yeah, that's probably one of the great Rush intros right there. How you like that shirt, you guys? Can you see it from above? Busy hitting it. You should go to stickacademymerch.com. Get you one of these. And on the front, it says, it's a gorilla, and it says, turn up the drums. Turn up the drums. And he's all mad. Let's see. Yeah, so get yourself one. Time with Blue Man Group. Oh yeah. So first met some amazing drummers. A concentrated area of amazing drummers. It was ridiculous. They're all so good. And the rhythms in Blue Man Group are amazing. I didn't understand, didn't even know, but they use rhythms. Like that's the whole show is rhythms. And it's so cool. Like when you're playing, so they had drum set drummers and then they had standing percussion drummers. And the percussion drummers had 2 floor toms with octobans and a snare. So they do rhythms like this. What? So that when you have 7 drummers doing that, it's heavy. But check this pattern out. This was one of their great patterns when you're playing a drum set. You have to have both feet going like this. Lightly, not hard. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. So cool. What was I going to say about that? Yeah. Really killer stuff. So my time in Blue Man Group got me back into drumming. Oh, yeah, there you go. Mandelbrot. So, yeah, I think that groove was the Mandelbrot groove. Do-do-do-do-gato, do-do-do-gato, do-do-do-gato. So cool. Met some amazing drummers. Really, really got into the rhythmic element of drumming, not playing beats, but driving powerful rhythms. And that's what I really dig. So, yeah, it was great. And it's performance theater. So, I'd never done theater before like that. So, it was really cool. And got to do all the blacklight stuff and, really cool. So rush, Tony. Come on, dude. Can you play that mid-song drum break from John the Fisherman? Mid-song break. I don't remember what that is. I'd have to play the whole song. See, this is the weird part. I'd have to play. I can't just recall instantly, what that is. It's like I have to start at the beginning and work up to it. So it's a little bit of annoying like that. Has your heart changed the way you approach the drum set on the way you look at music as a whole? Ooh, good question. Wow. I would have to say that I feel like I don't want to play really fast stuff. When I was younger, I was into it, so I don't know if it's directly related to the heart, but I definitely like doing more less 16th notes. I'm not into doing 16th notes at all. Like continuous, like fast. No, I can't stand that. So I'd rather just go. Yeah. So, congratulations on the recent art exhibition. Thank you, Andrew. And if anyone's ever in San Francisco, the art has moved to San Francisco, the Geffen Gallery right downtown. It's a big, fancy place. And my art is in it. It's not up yet. They're getting ready to put it up. So I am super amazed. I don't know how it happened, but it's happened, and I'm in the biggest gallery in San Francisco, one of the biggest, greatest cities in the world. My paintings. So it's incredible. I'm super grateful and just can't believe, man. It's amazing. Because I've been painting for 16 years. So on the side, in the background, when I'm at home doing stuff. And we just putting art on our walls. And then my wife was telling me that we should take some time and just focus on the art. And so that's what I've been doing for these 2 years. We haven't toured. So I was completing my paintings. I was going out and talking to galleries, trying to see if I can get in. And I got into one. And then I got connected with another one. So it's moving really great. And some people on Facebook are trying to get me down to LA at galleries down there. So if you know any cool galleries in your town that want some of my stuff, you can check out timalexanderabstract.com. It's a big, long name, but timalexanderabstract.com, and send a message. Let me know. I'll reach out, and maybe we can get some art in your town. Bring some class to that town. Just kidding. Thank you. Definitely one of my biggest drumming influences. Charlie says, thank you. God, I need my glasses to read this stuff. Yeah, Chicago. Go find a killer gallery in Chicago and tell them that they should get me in there. Greetings from Chile. Hey, awesome. Thanks for coming on. Love it. King Crimson Bill Bruford, please. Yes. I always do. I do. My Bill Bruford imitation is this. He's so great. He's another one that used rhythms, not just that kick snare beat, He used the rhythms too. I love Bruford. He's so great. I had dinner with him once at after a NAMM show. And he told me, he's like, when Yes used to record, this is before, computers and Pro Tools. So Yes they'd have this idea, and they record it, and then at the end of it, they would just chop the tape and then tape it on the wall. So there's one section, and then they'd come up with some other crazy section, and then the studio would be covered with all these pieces of tape, and then they would stick them all together, and they would make those crazy songs just go places by sticking parts together. So it was really cool. So he's an amazing guy. One of the best albums, you guys. He's playing drums. He's playing drums with a marimba player. Oh my God, it's so cool. But it's super dynamic. There's real quiet. What is that called? God, I forgot. Man, sorry. I have it on vinyl. But it's digital too. It's percussion. Amsterdam percussion. Oh, wait, hold on. Amsterdam. New percussion group of Amsterdam. Is this, wait a minute, is this the one with Bruford? Hold on. I might be wrong. Yep, that's it. Yeah, crazy. So that's Bruford playing with a marimba player. It's amazing. So that's the new percussion group of Amsterdam. Download that. Give them some record sales, man. All right. I've been on here for a while, you guys. What's here at the gallery? Here at the gallery. Yep, the gallery. Anyways, I'm going to head out. I had a big class today. So thank you for being a part of it, those who came. And Mr. Sinatra, thank you. He says, this is fantastic. All right. Thank you. Yes. So I'll probably be on here possibly tomorrow. Oh, wait. Shoot. I'm getting tired. All right, guys. Don't go anywhere. This is where it gets cool. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. We're going to have some coolness. We are on chapter 2 of The Science of Getting Rich. Sit back, put your drinks down, relax, and listen. Everyone's going to be rich, okay? We're all going to be rich. We're all going to be able to help everybody and make sure no one's hungry or no one's homeless. So everyone's got to get rich to do that. You understand that, right? That's how the world works. So let's do it. Chapter 2. There is a science to getting rich. So the reason I'm doing this real quick, my wife, I always put her to sleep with my voice when I read. So this is your time to chill out. Maybe I'll do some little tiki grooves behind the music or behind the reading. Okay, here we go. Chapter 2. There is a science of getting rich. There is a science of getting rich, and it is an exact science, like algebra or arithmetic. There are certain laws which govern the process of acquiring riches. Once these laws are learned and obeyed by man, he will get rich with mathematical certainty. The ownership of money and property comes as a result of doing things in a certain way. Those who do things in a certain way, whether on purpose or accidentally, get rich, while those who do not do things in a certain way, no matter how hard they work or how able they are, remain poor. It's a natural law that like causes always produce like effects. And therefore, any man or woman who learns to do things in this certain way will infallibly get rich. That the above statement is true is shown by the following facts. Getting rich is not a matter of environment, for if it were, all the people in certain neighborhoods would become wealthy. The people of one city would all be rich, while those of other towns would all be poor. Or the inhabitants of one state would roll in wealth, while those in adjoining states would be in poverty. But everywhere we see rich and poor living side by side in the same environment and often engaged in the same vocations. When two men are in the same locality and in the same business and one gets rich while the other remains poor, it shows that getting rich is not primarily a matter of environment. Some environments may be more favorable than others. But when two men in the same business are in the same neighborhood and one gets rich while the other fails, it indicates that getting rich is a result of doing things in a certain way. And further, the ability to do things in a certain way is not solely to the possession of talent. For many people who have great talent remain poor, while others who have very little talent get rich. Studying the people who have got rich, we find that they are an average lot in all respects. Having no greater talents and abilities than other men, it is evident that they do not get rich because they possess talents or abilities than other men have not, but because they happen to do things in a certain way. Getting rich is not the result of saving or thrift. Many very penurious people are poor, while free spenders often get rich. Nor is getting rich due to doing things which others fail to do, for two men in the same business often do almost exactly the same things, and one gets rich while the other remains poor or becomes bankrupt. For all these things, we must come to the conclusion that getting rich is the result of doing things in a certain way. If getting rich is the result of doing things in a certain way, and if like causes always produce like effects, then any man or woman who can do things in that way can become rich, and the whole matter is brought with the domain of exact science. The question arises here, whether the certain way may not be so difficult that only a few may follow it. This cannot be true, as we have seen so far as natural ability is concerned. Talented people get rich, blockheads get rich, intellectually brilliant people get rich, and very stupid people get rich. Physically strong people get rich, and weak and sickly people get rich. Some degree of ability to think and understand is, of course, essential, but insofar as natural ability is concerned, any man or woman who has a sense enough to read and understand these words can certainly get rich. Getting rich involves the necessity of dealing with men and of being where there are people to deal with. If these people are inclined to deal in that way you want to deal, so much the better. But that is about as far as environment goes. If anybody else in your town can get rich, so can you. If anybody else in your state can get rich, so can you. Again, it's not a matter of choosing some particular business or profession. People get rich in every business, in every profession, while their next door neighbors in the same vocation remain in poverty. It is true that you will do best in a business which you like and which is congenial to you. And if you have certain talents which are well developed, you will do best in a business which calls for the exercise of those talents. Also, you will do best in a business which is suited to your locality. An ice cream parlor would do better in a warm climate than in Greenland, and a salmon fishery would succeed better in the Northwest than in Florida, where there are no salmon. But aside from these general limitations, getting rich is not dependent upon engaging in some particular business, but upon your learning to do things in a certain way. If you are now in a business and anybody else in your locality is getting rich in the same business while you are not getting rich, it is because you are not doing things in the same way that the other person is doing them. No one is prevented from getting rich by lack of capital. True, as you get capital, the increase becomes more easy and rapid. But one who has capital is already rich and does not need to consider how to become so. No matter how poor you may be, if you begin to do things in the certain way, you will begin to get rich and you will begin to have capital. The getting of capital is a part of process of getting rich. It is a part of the result, which invariably follows the doing of things in a certain way. You may be the poorest man on the continent and be deeply in debt. You may have neither friends, influence, nor resources, but if you begin to do things in this way, you must infallibly begin to get rich. For like causes must produce like effects. If you have no capital, you can get capital. If you are in the wrong business, you can get into the right business. If you are in the wrong location, you can get to the right location. And you can do so by beginning in your present business and in your present location to do things in the certain way which causes success. That's it for tonight. You guys have a good night. Rest. That is the book, The Science of Getting Rich. This was written in the early 1900s. Long before people were even thinking about these things. So when you see all these guys talking about how to get rich, this is where they got it from, this book. So, The Science of Getting Rich. Check it out. It's an awesome book. But you can check it out here. I will read it to you with Jungle Grooves. Bet you can't find that anywhere. All right. Good night, all. Talk to you soon.